Now, a few times I've brought up that the Conservatives and the Tories want to get rid of human rights. Now, again, I keep saying this because this is what they keep telling us. This is what Theresa May has said. It's what Dominic Raab have said. It's a common Conservative line. Now, they post it any way they want, but anyone tells you they want to get rid of human rights, you seriously need to wonder what kind of fuckknuckle that person is. But in terms of Brexit, one of my biggest fears is that we're going to be losing the protections that we have from the European Court of Justice. Now, a lot of people, for the most part, just shake their head and say I'm exaggerating things. Okay, reported in the National, and I'll link this down below. Tories are using Brexit to get rid of human rights, warns Amnesty. Again, I'm going to link this down below. Amnesty International has warned that the government is selling off human rights of British citizens in return for post-Brexit trade deals. Now, if you go back to a few of the videos I have on particularly trade with America, I highlight a fair few of these. Now, we know that's what they want because when you look at American corporations, it's what they do. And then, of course, we have the leaks from the lobbyists and Trump himself coming out with this crap. Again, continuing. In the charity's annual assessment of human rights around the world, launched today, the organisation say they fear the British public, quote, don't even know that their hard-won rights are under threat, end quote. They warn that the frenzied drive to secure new trade deals has seen UK ministers and officials soft-pedaling with regimes who have poor records. That's things like, for example, Israel, the right-wing Israeli government that murders children, that can't murder children with assault rifles, so they bring in snipers to kill them and do it so gleefully. That's who we're now trading with. Continuing, last month, China's national newspaper, the Global Times, praised Theresa May for resisting radical pressure at home to raise concerns over the treatment of democracy protesters in Hong Kong in efforts to focus on trade and investment links with the world's second largest economy. I like China. I get a lot of my stuff from China, a lot of my arrow making stuff from China. But the Chinese government are horrible. They are fucking horrible to their people. Continuing, Liam Fox has previously talked of the UK's shared values with Rodrigo. Yeah, there's no way I can pronounce that last name with any kind of compliment to it. But it's the Filipino leader. The leader of the Philippines, who has been responsible for thousands of deaths since he was elected. This is the guy whose answer to the drug problem is to murder drug dealers and to murder drug addicts, and encourages vigilante groups to murder drug dealers and drug addicts. So, in theory, even if someone isn't a drug dealer but you got a bit of an issue with them, they were a drug dealer. Yeah, copper man, they were a drug dealer, so, we killed them. And we're protecting the country. Kate Nevins, Amnesty International's Scotland Programme Director, said the group also had fears about the government's planned repeal bill to transfer powers from Brussels to London. We must move on from the discussion about being pro or anti-Brexit. Without reform, the EU withdrawal bill could drastically reduce the rights of people living in Scotland. And it's not just Scotland, it's everywhere in the UK if you haven't got money. under cover of Brexit, the UK government is planning to strip everyone in the country of their fundamental protections. Most people are not aware of the serious threat that their hard-won rights. I'm going to leave it there, but again, I'm going to link it down below. I've said this so many times, I've lost count. The Conservatives want to get rid of human rights. The Conservatives want to get rid of workers' rights. The reason why they haven't is because we've had the backing of the European Court of Justice and the European Union. That's why they've not been able to. It's not because they don't want to. It's because so far they haven't been able to get away with it. The Magna Carta means nothing. There has been a ton of illegal shit that's happened in Parliament that shouldn't have happened, and yet it still does. This is a serious threat. It's possible that a general election is going to be on the ballot soon. If it is, regardless of who's running in your area, you can't vote Conservative, because this is what they're going to do. You can make an argument that we can make a go of Brexit under a different government, and I'm open to that debate. But under this government, this Conservative government, these Tories, that's what we're saying goodbye to. Goodbye human rights, goodbye workers' rights. And I would like to point out that the right to vote is also something that they're not a fan of. And again, while some people have told me that I'm exaggerating again and they'd never be able to get away with it, story I'm about to cover in my next video, MPs have their second homes bought for them by us. And the SOBs have just sold them off. Do you think they wouldn't?